Welcome in, everybody. Christian Ballard here with Ballard Sports Media, coming at you on a Monday night with a very special guest tonight. Going to be looking at the Michigan State Spartans football season upcoming in 2021. I'm probably just going to scratch doing any more like actual team previews. But as always, if you ever want to do a stream, you ever want to come on here, talk about your team, feel free to reach out. Just email me. It's down here below, ballardsports19@gmail.com. You reach out, get with me, and I'll get back with you. We have a very special guest tonight. He's been on before, quite a few times actually, to talk Michigan State Spartans. He is the one and only MSU #1 fan. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Ballard? Doing good.
Awesome, man. So, real quick, give an introduction in case nobody's heard you on here before. I know you've showed up quite a few times. You're always showing up in my streams, but talk about, I believe you do upload some videos here or there. Talk a little bit maybe about the videos that you upload. Talk about being a Michigan State fan. How'd you become a Michigan State fan? And what got you really into college football, I guess?
College football runs through the blood. My aunt and my cousin both grew up at the Shippensburg University Red Raven Marching Band.
Okay.
About 2 hours away from home.
That's awesome.
Became a state fan 2012.
Nice.
7-6 season.
Okay.
Connor Cook led that 17-16 point comeback. And really, people who don't really know me, I'm actually a volunteer firefighter / EMT.
Oh, that is incredible, man. Thank you for what you do with stuff like that. That's amazing.
No problem. We actually got a call on my way home on my bus for a wreck that I couldn't really help out with because they were blocked off. Nothing much that we could have done there, but
right. I got you.
As it was a pickup truck into a tree with entrapment with fully engulfed fire as well.
Right.
So Michigan State fans just gotta give it time.
Absolutely. Well, man, look, we are just a few weeks away from the college football season, And of course, we had such a weird one last year looking at, we had COVID going on and everything. We still have it going on, but it seems like it's getting a little bit better. We're managing it as a country and everything. But we
Yes.
look back at last year as college football fans and, just be grateful that we got college football, I guess. It was
Yeah.
a weird, for me, like Alabama, in the SEC, 10 games, conference only. It was practically conference only all the way around. The Big Ten had like a 8 or 9 game schedule. And of course, Michigan State being in that, want to look back at what happened last year. So, what did you get out of last year? I mean, you can't down teams too much. There were opt outs, especially for the Big Ten. It kind of got thrown together last minute. Like, you know what? Screw it. We'll play. We'll start in October.
Yeah.
So you can't really get too mad. You guys went 2-5, which isn't a good record, obviously, but did Michigan State have any opt outs? I guess I'll start with that, and then overall, can you blame them for having a tough year last year?
Jacob Panashuk, defensive lineman, opted out but opted back in.
Okay,
He's the really only one I know of from last season. Last year, nobody got a spring practice.
right.
Seems like Michigan State, that little Mississippi,
Yeah.
our little sister down the road needed it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Maryland, Rutgers needed it desperately. And about COVID, Pennsylvania is one of the highest transmission rates, especially where Penn State's playing right now.
Yes.
They're one of the highest rates in the state.
Absolutely.
So it would not shock me if Penn State was forced to get half stadiums before we get full capacity. That would not surprise me at all. And one thing from
Yeah.
last year, we got competition.
Right.
Competition and competitiveness. Yes, 2-5 is not the record, but you know what? I'd rather see 2-5 than wait another year for football.
Oh, absolutely. I think anyone complaining about how the season was set up last year or complaining about records or anything is just ridiculous. And again, like you can't, like another thing too, like if Michigan with the record that they had last year,
Yeah,
I think they only won like 2 or 3 games, just like Michigan State. They didn't even do that good on a normal year. That gets Harbaugh fired, but last year you got to give
yeah,
him props. It's like, look, you didn't have an off season. You came in and you won some games in the Big Ten. That's something. So I mean, you can't really blame anybody for anything, really. But obviously this year we're trying to get back to normalcy. We're trying to
yeah,
get back to, we want full stadiums. We want non-conference games and everything. So this season for you as a Michigan State fan, not really. I mean, I guess I'll ask record-wise too, and I'll go ahead and I guess I'll throw up this year's schedule and we'll dive into it and everything. But just outside of record, I mean, I guess you could throw that in too, but just what do you expect to see from I guess is it second year head coach Mel Tucker and the Spartans? Like,
yeah.
what do you expect to see, man?
More competitiveness, more competition.
Are
He
you
said
looking like at a minimum, like what are you looking for in terms of wins? And we'll talk about the schedule too.
between 6-6, 8-4. And
Like just
Coach
making
Tucker,
a bowl game kind of thing?
yeah. And Coach
Okay.
Tucker said, Tucker said this at the media days, or
Yeah.
it was the kickoff thing. Compete
Yeah.
to play, compete to stay. That's how
There
he
you
wants
go.
his program raised. He'd done it in the NFL. He'd done it
Yep.
before at Bama as a safeties coach in Georgia. He did it in the NFL for 5 games with Jacksonville Jaguars, which is now basically, I don't know, South Carolina.
I like what you said there too. The saying that Mel Tucker has, what is it? Compete to play, compete to stay. I like that term
Yes.
right there. That's a pretty interesting term. I would assume. I mean, the best coaches, not like Dabo or Kirby or anything, but just in general, if you want to be a good football coach, man, you got to have that kind of attitude. So obviously, it seems like Mel Tucker has that kind of attitude that he wants to build a good, winning, championship type of program at Michigan State. Like, he didn't come in just to win a couple games, man. And Michigan State is not far removed from, you know, um, competing and winning in Big Ten championships a few years ago. Go back to 2015. They made the playoffs. They were a 4 seed. Or I'm sorry, no, y'all were a 3 seed because you guys played Alabama, who was a 2 seed.
Yep.
You go back to that, man. It's just kind of been on downfall, but Mel Tucker, which is a great hire too, he was really good at Colorado, but he comes to the Big Ten, and I'm assuming you guys aren't giving him too much time. I mean, at the very least, you want to see him get back on the recruiting trail, so you kind of want to see him take action and initiative ASAP, right?
Oh, he's doing recruiting already. We have
Yeah,
a high
absolutely.
4-star, possibly a 5-star, Caden Hauser, quarterback.
Yeah,
He's the Ohio State, Clemson, Bama, Georgia type dude.
yeah,
He's a junior, and we got him on campus before his season started. That's an early jump. If we can keep it going and start winning, we'll be pulling in 5-stars. Not
yeah.
like Alabama, but 5-stars here and there. And Antonio Gase Jr. committed to Michigan State as a high-rated 4-star tight end. I think he's out of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay,
He'll be beside Tyler Hunt, who's a tight end. I think he's also our punter as well.
right. That's pretty cool.
And Tyler Hunt can also throw a football, so I wouldn't be surprised if a few trick plays came in. It was like Coach Harbaugh. Let's talk about Jim Harbaugh for a second.
Okay.
You go on, you go remember to beat what a 10th ranked Minnesota team.
Yeah.
You come back, you lose to a team that lost their records.
Hmm.
Then you lose to Indiana, who is arguably the second best team in the East, next to
Right.
those Buckeyes of Ohio State that no one's beating.
Yeah.
And then you just get pounded 60 something to 11 against Wisconsin at home.
Yes.
How can you give up 60 points and expect to be a coach? I don't understand that memo at all.
I mean, 60 point. I mean, look, this isn't the Big 12. He's stepping in the Big
Yeah,
10. Not that. Well, I guess you got to give credit. Some Big 10 teams out there, Ohio State, even Michigan and Penn State, give some credit to. They got defense, but you at least
and
have to hold teams if you can under 30 points. If you want to win games in this league, and especially, not that Michigan State, they got talent on offense,
yes, they
but
do.
they're working on it. They're slowly working on it. So
Slowly but
overall,
surely.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Slowly but surely, you look at that. If you go back and watch that Michigan game, the Michigan State Northwestern, Michigan State Penn State game,
Yeah,
Peyton Thorne's in that rhythm, Penn State. The thing that changed in the second half is Penn State got more pressure off the edge.
yeah,
Michigan State couldn't do it. There's 2 drives that should have been touchdowns. One was a no pass interference call on Penn State. I think it was number 12 for Penn State. Twisted the back shoulder pads of Jaden Reed back in the end zone. That was not called. That should have been. Gave us
right.
new 7 downs.
Yeah. I want to go
There's a
ahead and get in. What were you going to say there?
there's a ridiculous catch by Morgan, a 6'7" wide receiver, and
Yeah,
double cut one-handed caught it.
right. I want to go ahead and look at the schedule for 2021, but just a quick recap again. Uh, Again, you can't blame anybody for losses or anything last year, but in a weird 8 game, although it looks like you guys played 7 games last year, 8 games for the
Yeah.
Big Ten. Obviously, that Maryland game canceled, not rescheduled, just canceled straight up altogether. You guys open up, you take a tough loss to Rutgers. I guess the best thing, obviously, here you can say is you beat Michigan, as you would put it, Exogen or whatever. You
Yeah,
beat
they're that
them in Ann
excellent.
Arbor. That's pretty good. And your losses were not to bad teams. I mean, Iowa, they're kind of middle of the road in the Big Ten. They can recruit.
And
They can have some good seasons, 8-4
yep,
type years.
offensive lineman in the NFL. And don't forget, that's an Iowa team in 2017 that put 55 points on Ohio State, 55-24.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So
That's
you got Iowa who they can definitely put some guys in the NFL, no problem. They've
just look at
lost some key guys in recent years. Like I think they lost like two tight ends in the first round of the draft last year or
TJ
something.
Hawkinson and Noah Fan.
Noah
Yeah,
Fant, that's right.
and
Um,
TJ Hawkinson. And
yep,
the one thing
TJ
I'll say about
Hawkinson was
that,
really good. Yep,
and I'll say this about that Iowa Ohio State game, JT Barrett's first throw of the game was a pick six.
I remember that a couple years ago. Was that was like 15 or whatever it was?
No, that was
Or,
2017.
oh,
And the next
17. We're
year,
going too far back.
yeah, the
Yeah.
next year, Purdue happened.
Okay. Yeah. So, but getting back real quick, so you lose to Rutgers. At least you beat your in-state rival and Exogen, as you call them.
Yep.
Take the loss to Iowa. Lost to Indiana. Indiana had a good year, so I mean that's not too bad of a loss. But at the same time, you're coming off a loss, so you really don't want to take that. You get a bye week. You use the bye week. It helps you out a little bit. You get a 9-point win over Northwestern. Then you lose to the Buckeyes, which you can't hang your head there.
No,
It's the only thing
that
you can say is we wish we could have played better. But you gave credit to the Buckeyes. They ran the table, went to the national title game against my Crimson Tide. You lose to Penn State. The Maryland game gets canceled. Overall, I think Michigan State fans like yourself just want to forget about last year, correct?
yeah, and honestly, that Ohio State game, if you look back after that,
Yeah.
Rocky Barbie took a shot to the back of the helmet
Oh,
that I thought was a possible tournament penalty on
yeah.
Ohio State that was not called. I don't know if he hit him in the helmet, but he
Yeah.
was seeing stars, and he wanted to play the rest of the game. And Coach Tucker's no, you got a concussion. You're not playing. Like, no, you can't.
I got you.
And
So,
Peyton Thorne
yeah.
he went for 11 for 11 before getting intercepted. One was a chunk play, the nailer, the 20-yard touchdown run, the only touchdown in that game.
Yep. Absolutely. Y'all do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Hit the thumbs up. I've been doing quite a bit of college football content on here, but I try to cover as much sports as possible. We're talking with my good friend MSU, #1 fan. We've looked at last year's schedule. I want to go ahead and look at ultimately this year's schedule, and then we'll get into like looking at the offense and the defense for the team this year. But I want to look at what you guys have upcoming. Who do you have to face? I want to get your assessment as a fan, what you think of the schedule, how tough you think it's going to be, trap games, wins, loss records overall. So you start out with some in-conference play here. You start at Northwestern, go to Evanston, Illinois. You play Youngstown State. Then you get, I don't know if I want to say Miami is the first true test because I think Northwestern has been a pretty good team in recent years.
Yes,
That's a
they won
test right
the
out the gate.
they won they won the West the last 2 out of 3 years.
Yep,
The only year they did not win that was their 3-9. Wisconsin won the West,
that's true.
and Northwestern loses 67% of their football team.
This year,
Yes, from last year to this year.
you
Now,
guys, there might be some sort of a chance. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, like you've been saying,
now
man,
their now their best running back is done for the season.
it's not looking good as far as players for Northwestern. Does that give you guys an edge in game one? We'll find out. But I want to get back. So you start at Northwestern, Youngstown State, At Miami.
Um,
I'm pretty high on Miami. They got to open with my Crimson Tide this year. So I'm kind of messing with the fans a bit, but I do think De'Aaron King is a great quarterback, and it's going to be a good challenge for you guys.
yeah,
You get Nebraska, you get Western Kentucky, at Rutgers, at Indiana. You get the bye week, you get your in-state rival in Exogen. I'll say it for you in your
yep,
case. At Purdue, play Maryland at home on November 13th. November 20th is at Ohio State and Columbus, and then you get Penn State to close it out. And potentially, if you guys run the table and do pretty well, which I know a lot of people don't think it'll happen, but if you play your cards right, December 4th is the Big Ten title game at Lucas Oil Stadium, home of the Colts in Indianapolis. Overall, your assessment of this year's schedule?
I'm gonna say probably an 8-4, because let's say this: Lucas Oil Stadium is also hosting the national championship as well.
Right.
So Ohio State, I don't think you go there to the Big Ten championship. Indiana, Minnesota, Big Ten championship. Third teams undefeated.
Whoa.
Place to play.
So you already got it. So you think Indiana and Minnesota meet in the Big Ten title game?
Yep, it'll be similar to
That
2015.
is a hot take. I could see I could definitely see both of those teams having a fair shot and path, but I don't know if I would expect both those teams to meet up, although I am pretty high on Indiana and Michael Penix this year, and they bring back guys like Ty Freifogel. Um, and it'd be interesting to see what Coach Allen wants to do there, but that's a pretty hot take, man. I'll if you get that right, I'm gonna call you up. I'll hold you to it.
Especially with Tom Allen's son still, I believe he still plays in Indiana.
Okay.
And this is a game that, if you're Northwestern, you cannot overlook. What happened last year? You turned it over. We
Yep.
capitalized. We won the turnover battle. We did not commit as many penalties. We won the game.
Yeah.
You have to play clean football in the Big Ten. I mean, you cannot go in there and throw 4 receptions and expect to win. Now, if you're Ohio State, possibly, but no, I don't see it.
Yeah. So I guess, and again, I'm pretty much done, with like my own personal team preview videos for this off season. I'll try to
Yeah.
get Michigan State in maybe for 2022. Like after this season, if I can, I'm going to try to, maybe do more teams next year. But I think, and I'm going to use this lightly. You guys right now, preseason ranked teams, you got 4 of them. You got at Ohio State, number 4. You got 19 Penn State, 17 Indiana, Miami, number 14. I don't want to say this isn't favorable, but I also don't want to say that it is because, I mean, you do have a couple tough games in there, but like Youngstown State, you could beat them in East Lansing.
That
I think better than
is
Western Kentucky. I'm not sold on like Scott
Nebraska.
Frost, Nebraska. I'm not sold
But
on that. So I mean, I
don't
see.
forget,
Yeah,
don't forget, that's that 5-7 Nebraska that beat that playoff Michigan State team. They were
yeah,
5-7.
that's
So
true.
in 2019, we lost them 9-6 in a kicking contest. Wasn't even football; it was more or less kicking
Yeah,
field goals.
it was
And
basically like the LSU Bama 9-6 game, right?
pretty much,
Yeah. Okay.
you look at Michigan. Could we get a win? I think we could.
Hmm.
Number one, because we get a bye week between Indiana and that team. And I don't know
Yeah.
if they get a bye week before that.
All right.
Number
Yeah.
two, it's at home. Number three, home field advantage with all the fans. Number number four, who's the quarterback from Michigan? Do they have their identity at this point? Or am I
Joe
smoking weird?
Milton is in there at least.
No, Joe Milton's at Tennessee now.
Oh no, that's right. I keep thinking he went from Tennessee to Michigan. He went from Michigan to Tennessee. That's right.
Yeah.
I
And Kate
apologize.
Mac,
Yeah,
Jim Harbaugh has named Kate McInerney the starter.
right.
The
Which I've heard
longest
some good
pass
things. I've heard some good things about McNamara, but
I haven't
it's one of
seen
those.
much.
It's still one of those things. Like I gotta see it, so I'm not quite sold yet. You know
I'm
what I mean?
not sold. I think his longest pass of that first half against Rutgers was a 15-yard pass. And they had to come back 24-0 into the first quarter to tie it.
Right.
So, if I'm just talking about, I want Alan Bowman to start. One,
Yeah.
he's a transfer quarterback. Two, he's thrown a lot more snaps than any of those two quarterbacks combined. Number
Absolutely.
three, he's been through the paves. He knows what the defense is going to try to do in situations. And number four, can that defense stop the air attack? Can they? In that new
Yeah.
3-4 defense?
We'll
And number
see.
five for Michigan State, Mike Hart, he's coming back to East Lansing, where he made
Mhm.
those famous quotes, our little brother. I think Coach Tucker might use that as motivation
He might.
for us to,
He
yeah.
might. There's. I mean, it's not. Michigan State has talented players. I want to ask you. So, what do you think? What do you want to see be better this year? And then I'll ask you what you think is going to be better for Michigan State, the offense or the defense.
I think the defense steps up because there's a lot of veterans on that defensive line.
Okay.
Drew Beasley, Jacob Panasiuk, Xavier Henderson, Noah Harvey, Chase Klein. Chase Klein replaced Lawrence Simmons when he
Yeah.
went down with that injury against Penn State. So, yes, he's played against Penn State. So he has
Hmm.
experience against mobile quarterbacks like Sean Clifford.
Yeah.
And then you got Shakir Brown, who moved to Pittsburgh with the Steelers right now, as of now. And now, if you can stop, you have to make Northwestern one-dimensional. Make them run the football. Because
Right.
that is their weakness right now. They got a lot of new players on the offensive line. Make them run it. Make them one-dimensional. You should do okay. Don't forget, this was a top 10 team that we beat last year, East Lansing. Can we do it again? I think we have a chance. Not saying, oh, we're going to win that game 65-0. I
Yeah.
think Northwestern can. I think Michigan State wins it 45-35 on the road.
Okay. On the so
Northwestern.
yeah, I guess we'll go ahead. Um Tell you what, let's go ahead and I'll let you look at this schedule and we can go ahead and pick a record overall for Michigan State and then we can look at the defense and then we'll look at the offense too just to see, kind of what we're messing with Michigan State. So overall, you look at that first game against Northwestern, are you confident that you guys could go on the road and get that win on a Friday night?
I think we can. Number one, we think we know who our quarterbacks is. And by the way,
Okay.
we'll have two. Coach Tucker said we will use both Russo and Thorpe. It doesn't matter who starts because we're going to be using both of those. Noah Kim is showing the promise. Hampton Fay, surprise people. So I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if maybe Noah Kim got a little bit of time.
Okay.
I'm not going to say, oh, he's going to play the whole second half. But it would surprise me if Kim got some time in this season. In Northwestern, who's your quarterback? Is it Ryan Helinski, transfer from South Carolina?
I
Or
think
is
it
it Gus
might be.
Clemson?
Right.
Or do you go for more mobile quarterback, Howard Johnson, but do you risk your quarterback getting hurt? You don't know what your backup's capable of at this point.
They did lose. They lost a good quarterback too. Now he
Peyton
wasn't
Ramsey.
no Mac Jones or whatever, but yeah,
Yeah.
Ramsey. I believe entered the draft. Went pro. I'm sure someone probably signed him as an undrafted free agent, but he seemed like the guy that could just you know has
He
been the
can do
guy for Northwestern at quarterback the past couple years, but now like you said, they bring in that Helinski guy who actually, I mean, Helinski did pretty good at South Carolina. It seemed like, but of course that's South Carolina. If I'm going to take a guess on Northwestern, I think it starts out probably Helinski. I don't know how he's going to do, but I would just take a guess.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he used both of those quarterbacks. Whoever plays the best in the first half will start the second half.
Yep,
And don't
absolutely.
be,
So,
I like Pat Fitzgerald. I respect him a lot.
oh, absolutely. I think he's a really nice head coach. He's got a good attitude and a mindset of coaching, and obviously Northwestern isn't, you know, they're one of those teams like you don't know what you're getting out of them every single year. They could have an 8-4, they could have like a weird 5-7 or whatever. You just don't know what you
Mm-hmm.
see. But as far as coaching, I mean, Pat Fitzgerald's he's got a good attitude and a good heart, and you can tell he loves Northwestern. Northwestern loves him, and it's like he's just one of those coaches at a program like there's just a certain bond no matter win or
Yeah,
lose. You know,
yeah.
they
Even
love
when
the
they
atmosphere.
lost, even when they lost the Big Ten championship to Ohio State, he didn't
Yeah,
panic. He was like, "We lost by 12 points to the best team. Just probably gonna play for the national championship,
yeah,
depending on the playoff pool." And I think his thing is, we just lost the Big Ten. We play Auburn. Let's take our anger out on them and beat them. I
yeah.
mean, they were.
So yeah, go ahead.
That was the Northwestern team that was up 10-6 at the half in the Big
Right.
Ten championship game, and Justin Fields threw 4 picks in that first half.
Yeah, I think what's that game like 22-10 or something?
Yeah, that was correct. 22-10.
It was more of a defensive game, and it was just one of those. Look, regardless of what Justin Fields struggles with at first, we're still a little bit better than you. We're still going to win this game for Ohio State. So, but overall,
Because
go ahead and let me know. And if you want to give a score prediction out too, do you see a win that first weekend?
I think we get the tough win 45-35 on the road.
I like that. So you kind of see a shootout, but you guys end up winning by 10 and pulling out late. Then I would assume.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Next team, I really don't know what to say about Youngstown State, but I would assume you guys win this. You got any thoughts?
Youngstown State, this is the game that you should win.
Or
I
I'll
mean,
come on.
I'm not sure a Tennessee fan and Georgia State happened to you guys, but this is the game. It is at home. Mel Tucker's first home non-conference game. I think they want to get him the first win. I think
Yeah.
Michigan State 65-0 over Youngstown State.
65-0. Ooh, that's a hot. I say this because in my own opinion, yeah, I expect you guys to have a really prolific offense, but again, not like the likes of Georgia or Clemson or whatever. But 65, I mean, it's Youngstown State. It sounds like a
FCS.
good. It sounds like it has a good name for a good school, but as far as football goes, I've never heard of them, so I could see that. I like that. Now this next game we definitely got to pay attention to. This could be where you guys get your first loss. I did a Miami preview, and I might have sort of picked Miami to win this game, but
Yeah,
again, we're here to hear you, MSU fan.
yeah.
What do you see?
And I see why you picked Miami. But the
Yeah.
question is, what Miami team are you get? Are we gonna get that North Carolina and give up 62 points and
Mhm.
give up 800 yards of offense? Or are you gonna get that Florida State game 52-10 type team? And how is De'Aaron King doing by this point? Because you have Miami, you have Alabama week 1. Now Alabama don't feel sorry for quarterbacks. I'm sorry. I
I'm
think
sure
Miami.
if you give him a couple weeks, he'll bounce back and be prolific. But again, this is week 3 right here. I really don't know. Um, I'm more concerned if I'm Michigan State, if anything, I'm more concerned with how Miami's defense has been the past few years. Can the quarterback and whoever you have offensively, can they handle that?
Right. And can Miami's secondary handle the speedies?
You have,
Jalen
yeah.
Jalen Nair, you got Kenny Walker out the backfield, you got Tyler Hunt who can burn you. Ian Stewart, Fitzpatrick, Malik Carr, who's
Wait, wait, wait,
6'5".
wait, 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 wait. I'm looking here too at stats from last year. You
Yeah.
said Tyler Hunt. Isn't he y'all's punter?
He's a punter and a tight end. He plays both.
Ooh, there you go.
But he can
That's
also play quarterback. Like I would not
triple. Hey, that's a very rare triple threat football player.
I watched Jim Comparoni, a publisher of Spartan Mag Live,
Yeah,
and he said Tyler Hunt can throw it 60 yards with his left, 70 yards with his right. So I wouldn't be surprised if they came up with a little bit of tricks. That wouldn't surprise me.
yeah,
Now, for Michigan State, can Jared Horst, a transfer from Arkansas State, as well as Matt Allen, who started last season, fractured his foot, comes back. His two older brothers played at Michigan State.
yeah.
Can they hold this talented Miami defensive line, who's going to be in Thorin Arusa's face all game? But, Miami, you cannot underestimate Speed Naylor nor Walker,
Yeah,
especially the height of Fitzpatrick at 6'6", Lee Hart at 6'5".
absolutely.
I think Michigan State is that team. Are we going to get that Michigan-like team, or are we
Yeah.
going to get Iowa-like team? I think Miami wins it 48-28.
Michigan State wins it 48-28.
Miami.
Oh, Miami. Okay, so you are going with
Yeah.
Miami. You think they beat you by 20, but I can see where, you're giving your team some credit to hang in there, but obviously I can tell that you see that Miami might just be a bit too much.
And especially if the Jenkins fully healthy, if he's banged up, that might take Miami a little bit of time to get going
Right.
offensively. Has
Okay.
there been a time announced, the TV channel announced for that game, Ballard?
Yeah. It is a noon kickoff game Eastern time. It's either going to be ABC or ESPN. There, according to what this says here.
And I think if you're a Miami recruit or Michigan State recruit, that's one of the games that I would want to watch if I were a recruit.
I would, if I'm a recruit, I would make sure I get my tickets so I could go see these games live in front of my face. I know I would do that maybe.
Yeah.
Moving forward with the schedule, though, Scott, look, the hype with Scott Frost has got to stop. He has failed Nebraska fans in his alma mater. What do you go ahead and talk about this game for your Spartans here?
And I'll say this is a Nebraska team that, we want to play football no matter what this fall. They were crying tears. And the Big Ten said, okay, we'll send you to Columbus for your first game.
Right.
And I think Nebraska has something at the quarterback spot, but other than that, what do they got? Other than Martinez.
Right.
Especially with Nebraska. Scott Frost, you guys have to play back-to-back road games against Oklahoma on the road.
Yeah.
Which would be a loss. In Michigan State, I think you guys could go 0-2 because Michigan State has a home game.
And even if this were a road game for Michigan State, in my own opinion, I just think Michigan and I'd give Nebraska some credit. I mean, they don't completely suck or anything, but I just think Michigan State's a better football program, just a better team in general, and they should win this game. That's all I'll say.
Especially with home crowds will play an advantage this season, no matter what college game you go to. Yeah. I think I call this game the Christmas game.
Okay. Oh, because colors?
Yeah.
I like that. I do like y'all's specialty, what kind of, so what are the actual uniform? Is it just green or is it a certain
It's
color
a
for?
green. Wait, the color rush. You mean?
Okay.
Mean our regular uniforms or the new ones that we got in
I guess
2018?
both. Like just in general, like when you see a Spartan logo, like you know,
It's,
like what do you guys call it? Is it's not just green? Like Alabama's not red, we're crimson. You get what I'm
no,
saying?
it's a green and white Spartan emblem. Whether that
Okay.
be a white emblem or a green emblem, because we in 2017 we broke out a white helmet because our guys like wearing all white.
Yeah.
And I think in games that, let's say you go to Penn State in
Okay.
November. Hey, it can be sunny in East Lansing, but you come to Pennsylvania, it can be snowing and blowing, and you just blend in.
Right.
Or and we broke out a new helmet with a rough Sparty logo on. I
Yeah.
feel like with those new color rush uniforms, they're like a lime green, the lime green with the word state, lime green logo, the white stripe.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the uniforms that, if I'm aware of that for any game, it's probably that little sister game for me and Marvin.
Okay. Okay. I got you.
I
So
think Nebraska loses it
okay.
42-20.
42-20. That's an interesting score right there. Now, this next game, HC in parentheses, your homecoming game on October 2nd, 7:30 game against Western Kentucky. Um, is this just one of those games you obviously you would have to win, but I mean, is this one of those
Yeah.
opponents Michigan State looks at and says we should just blow them out?
I think it's a team that we cannot overlook anybody, whether that be a group of
Right.
five. Because
Absolutely.
again, with Appalachian State, they beat Michigan, North and South Carolinas.
Yeah.
But Miami, you have to play them, so that just shows you how a group of five is. Just look
Yeah.
at Cincinnati right now, UCF.
They're
I'll
good.
even go maybe Tulsa to a certain extent.
A little bit, yeah.
And I think Michigan State wins it ultimately 49-23.
Yeah.
Take first half, we pull away in the second. And that's what it comes down to. Do not let your homecoming emotions get to you.
Right. Now it starts. Now you get back a little bit to some Big Ten action. Rutgers, which we talk about as probably the worst team. Well, I know they're the worst team in the Big Ten, but it seems like the past couple years have been kind of interesting for them. What do you see in the Scarlet Knights?
I think they're a very interesting team. In 2015, they have Kyle Flood as the head coach.
Right.
They beat Indiana 55-52 with a comeback.
That was crazy. I remember seeing that game.
They beat somebody else in the Big Ten as well that they should not have beaten. So Rutgers, Ash, it was basically your downfall. You went what? 3-33? I think Michigan State should win it 38-21.
Okay, so you give them a couple scores there by like 17.
Yeah, I respect Rutgers because they got no Evangelo coming back, and they're in the top 10 in recruiting.
That is, I saw that the other day, and my jaw hit the floor because I mean,
Like,
see,
even Boston College up there.
now you have to remember something too. This is early recruiting stuff. We won't have guys signed till December. This is all based on commitments now. Teams, guys could flip, guys could go somewhere else. It really doesn't mean much now, but at the same time, you give them some credit that they are getting some attention from recruits out there.
Especially, you have Syracuse to battle with. You have Maryland. You got University of Connecticut Huskies. Boston College, I'd probably say compete with Boston. for some Massachusetts recruits just because
Right.
it's Boston.
I
You
got
have
you
to win the big recruiting battles
for
if you're
sure.
Rutgers. If you want to get back to your 2006 type style winning, it starts with recruiting and it starts now. It doesn't start tomorrow. Now. And,
Absolutely.
and, and Rutgers got shut out a ton under Coach Ash. They gave up 80 points to Michigan, 27 to Michigan State.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on real quick. The next game at the Indiana Hoosiers in Bloomington, Indiana. Ty Freifogel comes back. They're pretty much their top receiver last year. Indiana brings a lot back. Michael Penix. I expect them. Their preseason rank is 17. I expect them to be a pretty interesting team this year. Is this? I mean, what do you see in the Hoosiers this year, and what Coach Allen can do?
Can Pendix stay healthy for a full season?
That is a big question.
He tore his ACL on the quarterback slide against Maryland.
Yeah.
And if you're Indiana, you have to have a backup ready to go. You just don't know when your time will come.
Right.
Indiana, I'm expecting them to beat Ohio State. Why? New quarterback Ohio State, new offensive line.
Right.
Who's their third receiver? And don't forget, Indiana threw for 491 yards against Ohio State. Indiana was down 35-7 and came back, tied it. Ohio State won it. The last second score. And that tells you they're not a threat. Something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Especially
Absolutely.
if they came down by that much. Indiana, I'm gonna say Indiana 45, Michigan State 23.
45-23. I like that score. I could see Indiana's got some defense, but I'm not completely sold on them this year. I think by this point in the season, too, I think if you guys do struggle early on with offense, you should get it figured out by mid-October, which is where we're at right now looking at the schedule. You should be putting some points up on the board,
Yeah.
definitely. You get a bye week. It's perfect timing. You play, as you call them, Exogen. Why is this the year you guys are going to beat the in-state rival?
We had not beat them at home since 2014.
It's been a while, yeah.
And I think with Coach Tucker, the crowd behind him, the fans, how hot is Harbaugh's hot seat at this point?
It's pretty hot. I think it's burning
I
his
mean,
pants.
like, is it a campfire you're sitting right on top of it? Or is it
Right.
just focus on Ohio State, forget everybody else? And things have happened. Whoever
That's
rushes the best wins the game. I think Michigan State, I'm sorry about this, but I'm going to say this 58-6 at
whoa.
home against our little sister. Plus, Mike Hart comes back, or he
58
called us the little
6.
brother.
Now stop. I could understand if you pick your team to win at home against your rival. It's a rivalry game. 58-6.
38-28
Wow.
sound better?
I'm sorry.
Does 38-28 sound a lot better?
That sounds more realistic.
What Michigan team are we going to get, though? Are we going to get that explosive Minnesota one? Or are we going to get that team that played Wisconsin type of team?
Yeah.
If you're Michigan, you want to keep it close because this is a game that you can never afford to lose. Whoever wins this game beats Ohio State.
Okay.
Michigan, you have won this game, but you haven't pounded Ohio State yet. I'm sorry, Michigan. They're not talented enough to be Ohio State. In the near future, yes, but now you're far from it.
Yeah.
38-28.
Okay. Next
That,
next
that'll
game
be
on the
obvious.
list. I'm sorry.
That'll game on that'll be on ESPN, right, Boward?
That hasn't been announced, but it could be.
Okay.
Next game is at Purdue. Purdue's pretty good at home, man. They upset Ohio State a few years ago. They're,
Yeah.
they have a good home record. You open November up on the road at Purdue. What do you see?
And I'll say this. This is a fact. Ohio State has had the least amount of success playing in West Lafayette at Purdue.
Yeah.
And I think for Michigan State, last time we hadn't been there for a while. They were scheduled to play Little Sister last year.
Uh-huh.
That didn't happen. I think if you're Jeff Brom, you have Oregon State open up at home, and then you get the little cry girls at Notre Dame because they cried their way into the ACC.
Yeah.
To me, if you beg to be the ACC, no, you can't move. Just like Texas, Oklahoma. They went because they wanted to leave. Not because they were forced to, because they wanted to.
Right.
Notre Dame, if you wanted to the ACC, just do it.
Yeah.
And I was there, hockey, Notre Dame hockey's in the Big Ten. Everything else, ACC, ACC. I think Purdue takes I think Purdue loses it 35-27.
35-27. That's an interesting score right there. So you expect a close game. You expect your Spartans to pull it out.
Yep. Because they do play Ohio. I think they play Ohio State the week before us, I think.
Right. All right. This next game, Talia Tagovailoa at quarterback, brother of Tua. Not really sold on him. Really, it's all Mike Locksley I'm not sold on. What do you see in this Maryland game?
The best player in Maryland was Anthony McFarland, who had 80 yards untouched against Ohio State in 2017.
It was a great back.
And Maryland almost beat them. They lost 52-51.
Right?
Maryland, if you win that, what momentum does that give you forward? We won't know. I think Mike Locksley, I think you might beat West Virginia, but yeah, I think Maryland takes the loss on the road. 45-22.
45-22. That's interesting right there. Next game on the list, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Right here in Columbus. Look, man, I'm gonna call you out. You better have a reasonable explanation as to why you might win this game. You might. Please don't screw this up. Go.
If I'm Ohio State, there's almost a fight in 2019 multiple times. Darryl Stewart got into it with several different players. Ohio State, keep your players under control at all times. Like, I respect Ohio State. The problem is they got that rowdy fan base that gets all cocky.
Right.
We haven't beat them since 2015. The windmills. The problem is they got.
Yeah.
And I think we lose this game 51-31.
Okay. So you think you hang in there a little bit, but ultimately it's just too much offense that Ohio State has.
Yeah.
Okay.
This could be a Michigan State team. Could we give them a stare? Yes, we could.
Yes.
Anybody could.
Okay.
But if you're Ohio State, just keep doing what you've been doing all season on offense and you'll be just fine. And I think Ohio State wins in Ann Arbor 72-12.
Who wins in Ann Arbor?
Ohio State 72, Michigan 12.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna pretend I didn't. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that score. Okay. Final game of the regular season, November 27th, East Lansing. You got Penn State. What do you think?
Penn State is a talented team. 2014, we won it. 2 years, 13, 14. 2016, they won it. We horribly beat them in 15, 55-16. Next year, they beat us 45-12.
Yeah.
The next two seasons, we win it by walk-offs, and they come back and win it. So I think Penn State, I think they rebound.
Okay.
I'll say Michigan State 38, Penn State 35, overtime.
Overtime in East Lansing. Woo! That's huge. So based on that, remind me again what your losses are.
Ohio State, Miami, and Indiana.
So you're looking at a 9-3 for your Spartans this year?
Yep, that's not a bad. And those three losses are not bad losses. They're not bad losses. And you can't be disappointed in 9-3.
Absolutely not. Hey, look, man, I say this, we can talk all off season, but once the games kick off, especially September 4th, man, all these players, all the coaches and everything, all they can do is leave the talking in the locker room, go out on the field, and give it what they can. MSU fans saying Michigan State on a 9-3 record. That's enough to put you possibly in a New Year's Six Bowl.
And possibly, I'll say this. We will probably, I will assume we will play Ole Miss.
Yep.
In the Holiday Bowl.
Ooh.
When
Okay. Okay.
We won against Washington State 42-17.
That is true. Well, Michigan State fan, MSU #1 fan. Thank you so much, buddy, for reaching out and coming on. I always enjoy having you and getting good insight on the Spartans from a good and loyal fan of the team.
Yep.
Closing statements and anything else we need to know before we sit down to watch Michigan State this year.
Really, you gotta watch the transfers we got. Kevin
Yeah.
Walker. We played against him in the New Era Pinstripe Bowl.
Okay.
He scored 2 out of their 3 touchdowns. He's a 1 play away from going 75 yards. Anthony Russo, 44 touchdowns, 32 picks. Clean it up a little bit. I think Coach Jay Johnson can clean it up. It's not going to be Coach Tucker's not walking into an Alabama and Georgia where it's just, yep, 5-star talent, let's keep rolling with it. It's not an overnight fix.
Right.
It's going to take time. And if you're a Michigan State fan, have patience. Is there any questions in the chat for me to answer?
I am not sure. I mean, Jacob Watson does not agree with your assessment or record prediction, but other than that, I don't really see any
Which ones does he? Which ones does he disagree with?
I don't know. He said he'll find you after they finish 6-6, so I don't know what he's picking as far as losses or wins.
You gotta look at that.
They start out 1-2.
Ooh.
Hey, look, man, like I said, preseason we can do all the talking, but all the players can do is go out in these games and, put it on the field and just see what they can do. But we will see. MSU fan, I'm going to leave it here, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for your insight. And I will say good luck to your Spartans this year, man. You get the final word.
I think, where's your the microphone at on StreamYard at?
I'm sorry?
Where's the mic at on StreamYard?
Are you on your phone or laptop?
Phone.
Bottom left corner, it should be.
Is this the mic here?
Well, I just muted you, but...
Oh. Oh, this one? Ballard? Is your mic?
I can still hear you.
Is this the microphone now, Ballard?
I can't see what you're trying to.
Oh.
Anyway, anything else? And I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, man.
Not much. Here come the Spartans.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much, MSU fan, for coming on. Thank you, everyone in the comments that showed up. I think I saw Nate the Great, Jacob Watson, Michael Vick in here. I saw Neo. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Love each and every one of you. Go subscribe to MSU #1 fan. He does post videos.
Go ahead and drop the link
every
if you
now
want
and
to,
then.
Ballard.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead and drop the link to my channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I can put your channel link in here.
I've been doing post-game reactions to games. I'll probably do that Northwestern game, but I have a high school game. It's only like a half hour away, but still.
Right.
It starts Friday night, and I'll be posting videos on that as well. Keep me on update.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, buddy. I appreciate it. Have a
No
good one.
problem. See you, Ballard.
All right. Hold my tongue a bit. Thank you, MSU fan, for your insight and prediction on Michigan State football. Like I said, we don't know until the games are played. They got to leave the trash talk and everything on the floor, go out on the field, and play some football. But Michigan, MSU #1 fan, I've had him on a couple times. Just a great guy. Appreciate you coming on, buddy. I'm going to leave it here. I love each and every one of you. Keep your head up. Jesus loves you. Y'all remember that. I love you guys. God bless. And as always, from an Alabama fan, roll Tide, roll. Love y'all. Peace out.
What's that clicking noise?
Maybe we'll try to hire your ass.